This isn't just a movie, it's a journey that will touch your heart. A story about childhood, about sacrifice, and about the kind of love only a grandmother can give. Before we dive in, hit that like button. The story begins with a little boy named Sang, just 7 years old. He's traveling with his mom, leaving the city behind and heading out to his grandmother's house in the countryside. See, his mom just lost her job. She can't afford the city life anymore, and Sang? He absolutely hates the idea of going to the village. To him, it's the middle of nowhere, quiet, old, uncomfortable. When they finally arrive, Sang throws a fit. He begs his mom to take him back. Instead, she drags him inside, and that's where, for the very first time, he lays eyes on his grandmother. She's 78, fragile, worn out by time, but somehow still managing to handle every chore on her own, because in this lonely little house, she lives completely alone. Sang looks at her and instantly feels nothing but dislike. He even tells his mom right in front of her. The old woman hears it, but she doesn't react. She knows he's just a child. The next morning, Sang's mom pulls his grandmother aside. With a heavy heart, she says, "I have to go back to the city. My job is gone, my marriage is gone, and I need to find work again. Please take care of Sang for a while." Sang protests, but there's no choice. His mom leaves, and suddenly he's stuck here with a woman he doesn't understand, in a place he doesn't want to be. His grandmother can't speak much. Her voice has faded with age, her eyesight is weak, but her ears, they hear everything. She shuffles over, gently asking him through gestures, "Are you hungry?" But Sang? He snaps at her, runs to his room, slams the door. He clings to his toys, eats only the snacks his mom packed from the city, and pretends the old woman doesn't exist. That night, when he needs to use the bathroom, his grandmother quietly sits beside him, making sure he isn't scared. Out here, there's no electricity, no running water, only darkness and silence. The next morning, she hunches her frail shoulders and walks miles to fetch water. While she's gone, a local boy comes by, trying to befriend Sang. But Sang, too spoiled, too arrogant, raised in the city with no respect. He ignores him, even kicks the boy's dog. The boy doesn't argue. He just says, "I'll be around. If you ever want to play, let me know." And he walks away. Alone again, Sang wastes his day. He tries to skate outside, but these dirt roads aren't made for city toys. Frustrated, he heads back in. His grandmother tries to play with him, but Sang doesn't care. No matter how much she cleans, cooks, or quietly serves him, he treats her with rudeness. But she doesn't mind. This is her grandson, her blood, the child she's meeting for the very first time. That night, she struggles to thread a needle, her dim eyes failing her. She asks Sang for help, and for the first time, he does. For a moment, they share something. Then, out of nowhere, a cockroach scuttles by. Sang screams in disgust, but his grandmother, calm as ever, she picks it up barehanded and tosses it outside. To Sang, it's shocking. How could anyone touch something so filthy? But to her, it's just part of life. The following day, Sang's little handheld game dies. The batteries are gone. Furious, he tears through the house, searching for coins. But there's nothing. His grandmother is too poor to even own spare change. And for the first time, Sang feels his anger boil over. But Sang's anger doesn't stop at words. One day, he smashes a precious pot, a pot his grandmother had treasured for years. And as if that wasn't enough, he throws away her only pair of shoes into her fragile feet. And still, she says nothing. Sang, though, he only cares about one thing: batteries for his little game. And when his grandmother falls asleep, he sneaks into her things, steals a silver hairpin she's kept for a lifetime, and rushes off to the market. But fate turns its back on him. The village has no batteries for his toy. On his way back, Sang realizes he doesn't even know the road home. He asks strangers, but nobody can guide him to the lonely little house on the hill. Meanwhile, his grandmother wakes up and sees the hairpin is gone. She knows her grandson must have taken it. With her weak eyes, she searches everywhere until finally she finds him, lost, tired, angry. But she doesn't scold him. She simply turns and quietly walks back home. Sang follows behind, silent. He refuses to eat, crawling into bed on an empty stomach. But she knows. She always knows. So late that night, she cooks a meal. With gentle hands, she wakes him. "Eat," she motions softly. But Sang snaps. "You'll never make the food I want." She signals back, "Tell me. I'll try." So Sang shows her a picture meat, something she can barely afford. Still, she borrows money from a neighbor, buys what she needs, and cooks for him. But when he sees it, he rejects it again. Furious, he storms out. Yet hunger wins. Hours later, he creeps back in and eats it anyway. Days pass. He lives in her house, sleeps under her roof, and still, his heart holds no love for her. Not yet. One night, her body fails her. The old woman collapses, too weak to move. And for the first time, Sang doesn't feel anger. He feels fear. He feeds her with his own small hands. That's when he notices her hair. Where once the silver pin gleamed, now some cheap little trinket holds it together. Shame washes over him. Quietly, without a word, he places the silver hairpin back where it belongs. The next morning, Sang ventures outside, searching for a playmate. He approaches a girl and asks, "Want to play with me?" But she shakes her head. "No, you broke my toys." The rejection stings. Later, Sang goes with his grandmother to the market. She tries to sell pumpkins, but nobody cares. Nobody buys. Sang wanders the stalls, his eyes lighting up at the sight of a pair of shoes. Beautiful, clean, perfect. He wants them more than anything. But he has no money, so he turns to the only person he can, his grandmother. After days of struggling, his grandmother finally manages to earn a little money. And with those hard-earned coins, she takes Sang to a restaurant. For the first time, Sang tastes the food he always wanted. The flavor lights up his face. He loves it. But then, he sees the truth. Every bite he takes is another piece of his grandmother's sacrifice. Money she worked her fragile body to the bone for, slipping away in seconds. As they step outside, Sang spots a store. Inside, stacked neatly on the shelves, batteries. The very ones he's been dreaming of. But this time, he doesn't ask. Soon, the two wait at the bus stop. Sang climbs inside first, only to see her. The same village girl who once refused to play with him. The one Sang secretly likes. Excited, he turns to his grandmother and says, "Take the next bus. I'll go alone." She hesitates, but gives in. Even now, she bends to his stubbornness. She hands him her heavy bags, asking him to carry them. Sang refuses. Hours pass. Sang rides with the girl, gets off at their village stop, and waits. But his grandmother never comes. The sun sets. Finally, the last evening bus rolls in, and there she is. Exhausted, alone. She waited all day because her grandson told her to. For the first time, guilt flickers in Sang's heart. Quietly, he takes her bags. Together, they walk home. The next morning, Sang goes looking for the girl again. But he finds her laughing, walking side by side with another boy. The same boy Sang once kicked, the boy who tried to be his friend. Jealousy burns through him. When the boy leaves, Sang smirks and lies. "Hey, there's a bull coming. The killer one." Terrified, the boy runs. But the truth? The bull was never behind him. It was charging straight for Sang. He bolts, his toy clattering to the ground, broken. His heart breaks with it. That night, fear keeps him from going outside alone. The outhouse is dark, the storm raging. He begs his grandmother to come. And though the rain lashes, though the wind bites, she stays, sitting there, silently keeping him safe. The next morning, something shifts. The girl smiles at him and says, "Come play with me." For Sang, it's like the sun breaking through clouds. He beams, promising tomorrow. Tomorrow comes. Before leaving, he asks his grandmother for a haircut. She does her best, but Sang frowns. "You ruined it," he snaps. He covers his head with her scarf, grabs the girl's favorite teddy bear as a gift, and rushes out. But on the steep hillside, he stumbles. He crashes to the ground, his knees torn and bleeding. He can barely walk when the bull appears. Massive, deadly, charging. Sang's heart stops. But just then, the boy, the same boy he mocked, the same boy he lied to. He leaps in, pulling Sang away, saving his life. Shaken, Sang finally breaks. He looks at the boy and whispers, "I'm sorry." And the boy? He smiles, forgiving him without a word. As Sang limps home, something presses against his leg. He reaches into his pocket, wait for him. His eyes flood with tears. He realizes every step, every sacrifice, every silent gesture has been love. Pure, selfless love. When the little Sang stumbles home, his knees torn and bleeding, his grandmother rushes to him. Her face tightens with worry. She gently shows he'll soon be back to take Sang away. At first, this should have been good news. But for Sang, it feels like heartbreak. Because now, he truly loves his grandmother. He doesn't want to leave her. Not anymore. That night, as the oil lamp flickers, Sang sits beside her. He teaches her how to write. Slowly, carefully, he guides her fragile hands across the paper. "Grandma," he says softly, "if you ever need me, write me a letter. And if you can't remember the words, then just send me a blank page. I'll know. I'll come back." From then on, every day becomes precious. He spends his last moments threading dozens of needles for her, so she'll never have to struggle again. He helps, he laughs, he loves. And then, the day comes. His mother arrives. At the bus stop, Sang stands between two worlds, his mother on one side, his grandmother on the other. He doesn't look at her. He can't, because saying goodbye would break him. But as he boards the bus, he slips a letter into her hands. A gift, his way of staying close. She tries to speak, to signal, to wave, but he stays silent until the bus begins to move. Only then, from the back window, with tears spilling down his face, he raises his small hand and waves goodbye. His grandmother waves back. No words, just love. Get to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story too.